Assalamu alaikum, gorgeous soul. Welcome back to this episode of the Rosaline Batul Show. Before we get started, I just want to let you know that I have a cold. So if I sound different, I sound bunged up, because your girl is blocked, okay? If you hear me breathing heavily, it's because I can't breathe through my nose, okay? Now that we got that out of the way, have you ever been so heartbroken over something? Maybe someone betrayed you, it was a friend, maybe it's your ex, person that you thought would never hurt you. And every time you think about that situation, it just makes you feel something. It brings back those memories and it puts you back in the state of feeling heartbroken. This episode is for you if you answered yes to that question. Because the gems I'm dropping in this episode is going to help you reframe that experience. So let me take you back to June 2023. It's a beautiful day, gorgeous, hot, sunny. I'm looking at the ocean. Life is just great. I'm in a great state. Me and my husband, we're talking about our future, what we want in our future. We're talking about real estate. We're talking about buying land to build our second home. We're thinking about actually buying homes, investing in different countries and all this stuff. So we're talking about all that stuff, getting really excited about the next 5 years of our life, inshallah, if Allah lets us live that long. And we started our affirmation. So me and my husband, we do identity work because I'm training him in what I do. He's already started doing things like that and he's seen the effects of it. So he understands how to help his clients or how to help his potential clients in the future. So anyways, we're doing our affirmation work and we're focusing on the concept of having more wealth and being able to handle it and be responsible with it. And we're doing a lot of things. So affirmations, visualization, assumption work, doing a lot of things. Like before we sleep, we're making sure we're in the right state. We're holding each other accountable too. He holds me accountable when I'm going back into my old identity. I hold him accountable. I remind him, he reminds me. So we're doing a lot of that. And I remember saying to my husband that we should go on holiday. And I was looking at things like maybe Zanzibar, maybe Maldives, just somewhere nice and exotic. And he said to me, Rose, we need to go to Umrah. We need to go to Mecca. That's luxury upon luxury. That's the only luxury experience I want. And it hit me because I remember in 2017, I lost my mom, Rahimullah. I lost my job and I was pregnant with my third child. And I went for Umrah. I did Umrah for my mom. And may Allah accept it. I pray Allah accepted it. And I remember looking at Makkah Towers Hotel. So I'm in the Haram. I'm looking up. I think I was eating a sandwich with my son. I was looking up at Makkah Towers. And I said, Allah, I'm coming back. I'm coming back here. I'm going to be richer. I'm going to be healthy. I'm going to come back with my kids. Back then, I only had 2 kids and I was pregnant with my third. So technically 3 children. But I just had this knowing, this sense that Allah is going to bring me back. And it makes me want to cry. SubhanAllah. Girl, don't cry. You're doing a podcast. But when I lost my job and I lost my mom, I lost a lot of myself. I felt deeply, deeply broken. Because my mom was like my best friend. She was the woman I spoke to every day about life. I remember being on the phone to my mom for like 8 hours once when I was working in Saudi because I just loved speaking to my mom. My mom could talk about things for hours. She could talk about her childhood, about her life experiences. I always took something from her life that applied to mine that I would need in that time. Allah would always create that connection for me. So I remember looking up at the Makkah Towers. Oh, I'm like choking on my words here. And I was thinking, you know what, Allah, you're not done with me. This is not the end. This is just the beginning. And I just had that thought that came to my mind. It wasn't an obsessed thought. It was just, I'm going to come back. I'm going to be richer. I know I will. I'll be richer. I'll have my own business. I'll be healthy. I'll be wealthy. I'll be happier. I'll be healed. That's what I said to myself. I said those 6 things. I'll be happy. I'll be healthy. I'll be healed. I'll be wealthy. I'll be richer. I'll have my business. I'll be healed. And So when my husband said to me about Umrah, I was like, oh my gosh, that memory came to my mind. And I told him that, and he was like, Allahu Akbar, you see, Allah wants you to go back for Umrah, so let's figure it out. So because we live in Gambia, there's no direct flights to Jeddah. And to get to Gambia from Jeddah, you have to go through transits. It's like a 24-hour journey. But another thing is, in Saudi, we did not know how things were because after COVID, we didn't know if we needed a vaccination to do Umrah. We didn't know if we needed additional vaccinations because we live in Africa. So it's really complicated, the whole process. We were just like so overwhelmed with like how difficult. It felt so difficult to go for Umrah from Gambia. So my husband suggested we go to London and then we do Umrah. And I really wasn't excited about that. That didn't really excite me to go back to the UK, to spend time with family and then go to Umrah, then go back to London to go back to Gambia. That was just long. That's too long for me. I'd rather not. So we were coming across like obstacles when it came for Umrah, but everything else in our own goals, our different personal goals and whatever, everything was flowing just fine. And then we decided, okay, what's the next thing that we can do that's going to embody this rich feeling? And we thought, you know what, we need to buy a new car because we've had so many cars in Gambia. Girl, one thing they did not tell me about Gambia is that when you move here, you're not going to find a good car. Do not buy a second-hand car. Import it, buy it brand new. So that's the lesson I learned from that. The amount of money I spend on cars is abysmal. It's shocking. It's painful to even think about. So yeah, I just keep telling myself I did charity. The way I get over that feeling is I say to myself, I did charity. I did charity in Gambia through these cars, so it's fine. So my friend mentioned to me that she's bringing cars over from Dubai. And she mentioned that she has a car in Gambia that she imported from Dubai and it's been working perfectly the whole time she's been here. And I was sold on that. I was like, yes, finally a British person. She's my friend. I can trust her. I know this is going to be a great thing. As we were talking more about the car, she introduced me to the guy that she uses, a middleman who helps ship the cars. Something in me told me, this is not a good idea, Rose. Don't do it. But I gaslit myself and I ignored my intuition. And I said, no, it's fine. I know it's fine. I know this girl, she's my friend. Why would she ever betray me? Doesn't make no sense. So I can trust her. That's the first red flag. I should have listened to my intuition, but I didn't. So as time goes on, I'm starting to realize after I paid the money, because I paid some money up front, started to realize this actually might be a bad idea. But me being me, when I get committed to something, I see it all the way through. So I just told myself, be patient. Now, the car was meant to come in July. So we waited and waited. There were some delays. Took a long time. And I was like, oh my gosh, this car better come now. Then on arrival, we will pay the remaining amount. Now, the amount came up to £12,000. A lot of money. And here's me thinking, we're going to get a brand new car. When the car arrived, it looked like a piece of junk, to be honest with you. It looked like it had been sat in a garage in Gambia for a year and they just fixed it up. They've been riding it around to make it sound like it's been used and like it's working, and it wasn't that great. I was so disappointed. I can tell you that when I saw that car, I was still gaslighting myself, saying to myself, no, it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. My husband was like, what is this heap of trash that we just got? I was like, babe, it's okay. It's my friend. And my husband was like, that's clearly not a good friend then, because she just sold you something that she wouldn't even use herself. Her car does not look like this. And I got into a few arguments with my husband over it. And it made me realize that, you know what, I really messed up. And I need to bite the bullet. I need to take the hit. And I need to take responsibility and realize that I ignored my intuition. So as time goes on, a week later, the car stops working. The car stops working. A £12,000 car stops working dead. Can't even get it to turn on. And before that, we paid money to a mechanic to fix it. There's some issues with the car. We had to pay money to fix a car that we already spent £12,000 on. We had to pay to fix it. Now, during this whole process, I was in contact with my friend and she was gaslighting me the whole time saying, well, it's Gambia. What do you expect? I was like, no, it's Dubai. It's from Dubai, girl. It's not from Gambia. No, but this is Gambia standards, blah, blah, blah. You have to be patient with them. I'm just like, mate, it came from Dubai. But anyways, because I'm a loyal friend, that's my fault. I was just like, okay, let me just deal with it the best I can and not complain because, I'm trying to embody wealth. So rich people have problems, right? So probably this is the problem I'm going to have, being rich. Like, I just need to accept it. Rich people do have problems. They may not get what they want. So the car breaks down, doesn't work, and I'm fuming. I'm literally fuming. I've bit my tongue, and I messaged my friend again saying, you need to get this sorted or give me my money back because this is ridiculous. How did I spend so much money on a car and it's not working anymore? And she turned around and said to me, well, you took it to the mechanic. Maybe the mechanic broke it. And that's when I lost it in my mind. My world came crumbling down. I couldn't explain to you. It's like I felt like how I used to feel in my around my siblings that they used to gaslight me a lot. I felt that way. That it's not me, it's you, but you're blaming me. So it's like my world came crumbling down. I can't explain to you how I felt. It was so devastating. It was a similar feeling to when my mom died, but not to that level. But it's just like this feeling of anger, resentment, guilt, shame, fear, doubt, worry, all these feelings all in one go. So we can't get our money back. And then a week later, I'm in a group and I thought, you know what, let me fix the car. I do not want this car. I don't like it. I don't want it. I don't want to remember what happened. I want to sell the car. So we spent a lot of money. Oh my gosh, I don't want to talk about it. Spent a lot of money fixing a car that's already £12,000. And we said to ourselves, there's no way we're going to sell this car the way it is because it's haram. It's going to be bad. We have to fix it. Doesn't matter if it costs us more money. That's what rich people do. So we fixed the car, got it to working. It wasn't like perfect. It's not like a perfect brand new car, but it's working. It doesn't feel dangerous when you're driving it. It feels good. And then I was in a group and I was advertising the car, and a girl in the group that I do not know, she's in a group of immigrants. We're all immigrants in Gambia, and we're from the West. And she messaged me privately saying to me, oh, you're selling this car? It's similar to the car that I bought, blah, blah, blah. Did you buy from this person? She mentioned my friend. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. And I didn't want to add fuel to the fire. I thought to myself, let me just keep this private. So I just said to her in a nice way that the car is nice to look at, but I had to spend money to fix it. It stopped working after a week. I'm not happy with the service. I kept it like that. I didn't talk ins and out about my friendship with the person. I didn't do that. I just talked about the car. She calls me out of the blue. I don't know her. We started chatting and she said that I'm waiting for my car. It's been delayed for a month and they keep delaying it. And it's made me realize that there's something wrong. And I already knew there's something wrong before you told me. But this is just a sign for me. So anyways, start chatting and she contacts my friend because at this point my friend blocked me. So I had no contact with my friend after I told her how I felt about her. Me saying horrible things to her. I said to her, you know what, Allah is watching you. You think you can scam me, but you'll never escape Allah. That's the last thing I said to her and she blocked me. So I couldn't contact her. So that girl contacted her and started talking to her and she was sending me screenshots of what she was saying and blah, blah, blah. And then my friend is blatantly backbiting me to this girl. And I was just so shocked. I was just thinking, oh my gosh, this is how she felt about me this whole time. She felt this way about me. Oh my gosh. It hit me like a ton of bricks that someone feels this way about me. Because in my mind, I don't think badly of people. I never try to assume bad of people. Even if they show me things that they are bad, I always refer it back to myself and ask myself, what is this reflecting within me? So for her to say that about me, it was really weird. I was in a weird place. It was just like, whoa. More of my world is crumbling down. So anyways, that really hurt me. And I thought to myself, it's fine. In a few days or a few weeks later, a week later, I think it was, I end up in a group with this girl who bought the car from my friend. And we're trying to figure out a way to get our money back. We invite the community into the group, the community of Muslims who live in Gambia. We invite them into the group. Some of them it's not some, there's only just one person who actually cared. The rest didn't care. And that's when I realized that it runs deep. This gaslighting runs deep. And this is when I was abandoned by a lot of people because my friend or my ex-friend that sold me the car got lawyers involved. And this is when people start getting scared. And she sued me for defamation of $1 million more than what the car is worth. Because I told people not to do business with her until she gives me my money, which is my right as a Muslim, because there's no law. Like, I want you to understand, in Gambia, there's no consumer law. Once you give your money to someone, you will never see it ever again. Even if you threaten with the police can be bought very easily with like £10. It's just a country where it's like a jungle, concrete jungle. People do whatever they want. There's no law to abide by. Like, people get away with things a lot. So knowing that, I feel like that person took advantage of the fact that there's no law here. You could sell whatever you want and you're not going to get caught. So a lot of people backed off when she sent lawyer letters. And I started getting letters from people who I used to know in the UK and telling me about how they're not on my side and how they applying the deen, how they applying Sharia to the situation, in the sense of there's two sides to the story and my story doesn't add up, but her story adds up. I was just so confused. I was like, okay, cool. Everyone's looking at me like I'm the problem because I'm the one who brought it to people's attention. So I need to stop. Anyways, we're still in this group, and at this point, I feel like I'm slipping away. Not slipping in my faith. One thing that's great that came out of this whole situation was my faith got stronger. But I just felt like I'm losing grip on life. And then this is when I started praying really hard to Allah. Mind you, when this whole started, I just prayed my 2 rakat. As soon as this whole situation, I remember the car arrived, weren't happy, I prayed 2 rakat. I said, Allah, whatever happens in this situation, protect us all. Whatever happens. Because I know something crazy is going to happen. Allah, protect us all, please. Thank you for protecting us. Please continue to protect us. Help me learn the lesson. I prayed my 2 rakat and I expressed gratitude to Allah for allowing me to have this experience. So when this whole situation was happening, now there's people involved. Now there's other parties involved. People that I've known for a while, people who I don't know, people who have passed on the street, people who come to functions. It was like in a very embarrassing time. Like, the feeling of embarrassment was coming up because people know I'm a coach. They watch me online. Like, the people know of me. They may not support me, and they may act like they don't know about me, but they do know a lot about me because they're also on social media. So here in my mind, I'm just like getting paranoid, thinking, oh my gosh, like they might be talking bad about me, and they might be talking about my services, and they might come for my business. So I was really worried about all that stuff. Like, what if people start coming for my business and affect my livelihood and affect what I'm doing? So a lot of paranoid thoughts started coming up, and I started praying hard to Allah. I started just praying as much as I could, and Alhamdulillah, one of the great experiences, things that happened is my faith got stronger. Allahu Akbar. My faith got so strong. I never once blamed Allah. I never once said to Allah, Allah, why me? Why is this happening to me? I said, Allah, thank you. I kept saying to Allah, thank you. Alhamdulillah. I kept praising Him. I kept saying, Allah, you're the greatest. You protected us from so much. And this is nothing. This is like nothing. We made hijrah so easily. This is like a little scratch on the surface. Now, during that time, I was pregnant and I went for a miscarriage. So that added to my stress, because I'm not going to say that it was because of the stress that I had a miscarriage, because I do believe that's qadr. Whatever's meant to happen is going to happen. Whether I'm meant to have babies or not, that's qadr of Allah. That's my risk written. But it did hurt a lot because that was going to be my 6th child. And I'm a 6th child. I'm the 6th child. So it's just, I had this kind of like thought in my mind that, I'm going to be able to love this child the way I wasn't loved, and give, like, this child's going to be born into a family of 2 parents, loving parents, and it's going to be a different experience. So that's what I was thinking in my mind. But Alhamdulillah, Allah had better plans. And I was grieving the miscarriage too. And the most saddest part about this whole situation is that no one cared. When I told people I've gone through a miscarriage, the stress has added, no one blinked an eye. It was so sociopathic. The best way I could describe it is like sociopathic behavior. No one cared. No one offered like anything. There was no support. Like, as women, like, we sit down and we talk and we cry it out. There was none of that. It was just, I was alone. I was genuinely alone. And because I'm a girl's girl, like, female friendship is such a big thing to me. I have 2 good friends in my life who I don't consider friends. They're my family. So when I say friends, I want you to imagine it's like an acquaintance. That's how I see a friend. When I say family, like a person who is not my blood family, but I call them family, that's because, like, we are so intertwined. We know each other very well. The girls that I have in my life, my friends, who are like my family, they've been through it with me since I was in university, when I had my first kid. Even when we don't talk every day, when we talk, it's like we pick up where we left off, and they have so much compassion. They're the ones who helped me understand that I was in an abusive relationship way back when. So I'm used to that kind of sisterhood. So when I came across women who were just looking at me like, and so what, you had a miscarriage. It was very like masculine. And I just thought to myself, where am I living? This is when I started asking myself, where am I living? What place have I come to? Because this is really weird. This is not normal behavior. And imagine during this time, I had a miscarriage, and now I am coaching ladies in sacred family pleasure in the cohort. Like this was the cohort in June. We were 4 weeks in, and I always kept saying at the 4 week mark, you're gonna go through chaos, and that's exactly what happened to me. At the 4 week mark, chaos ensued. This is when they started happening, the situation with the car. So I was going through all of that alone. But I wasn't alone. I had my husband, I had my kids, and I had Allah. But I felt so excommunicated from the society, from the community, from the Muslim community in Gambia. I just felt so alone. That was really heartbreaking. That really hurt me because I know if I heard a woman going through what I went through, I'll be there at her beck and call. I would do whatever I can in my power to make sure she's okay. But I never got that. It was really weird. So anyways, time goes on and I'm starting to feel things. Like my intuition is really on point. It's getting too good now at seeing things happen. Now I'm waking up in the middle of the night and I'm hearing voices. Not like many voices, just one voice. And it's like a voice coming from inside of me. And I can't explain the voice, but I'm seeing images, I'm seeing things. I literally feel like I'm going through like some sihr issue. I feel like I'm possessed. Waking up my husband and I'm saying to him, babe, I'm hearing things, I'm seeing things, I'm going crazy. I feel like I'm going crazy. And he said, babe, you need to calm down. You just had a miscarriage. You have a lot going on. You're stressed. We've gone through a lot. You need to relax. Like, what can I do to help you relax? He's like, mashallah, my husband was like my rock, my backbone. He really helped ground me. I don't think I could have gone through this experience without him. And I feel like Allah helped me go through this experience and have him with me. I don't think I would have survived it, to be honest with you. So he grounded me a lot and he kept asking me, what do I need? And he really helped me just ground. But it kept happening. These downloads I call it downloads. I kept getting downloads and they were so accurate. One night I wake up and I hear there's going to be 3 men coming to your house. And they're going to have a letter. They're going to say to the lawyers, tell Yaqub not to open the door. And I wake up my husband. I told him exactly what I heard. And he was like, okay, Rose, you need to go to bed. Let's recite Quran, read the Surah Baqarah, put Surah Baqarah on. Like, just go to sleep. So I prayed my tahajjud. I read some of Surah Baqarah, not all of it, and did my adhkar, went to bed. The same morning, the same day, me and my husband had to go to the printing place to print some stuff off to give to the lawyer because when I received the defamation letter, I said to myself, I'm not going to back down. I'm not going to give in. I'm not going to like be quiet. I'm going to stand my ground and give them all the evidence that they're asking for, that I didn't defame her in any way. So we're at the printing machine place and my son calls us and says, oh, Mom, there's some men at the door saying they're lawyers and they have a letter to give us. I was like, what? Huh? You know when your world stops? That's literally what happened. I felt like my heart stopped too. It's just that dropping of your heart into your stomach feeling. Like it felt like my heart dropped into my stomach. So alhamdulillah, me and my husband were on the motorbike. So we were only like 5 minutes away, but on the motorbike, it takes like 2 minutes to get back home. By the time we got back home, the people had gone. I ran inside the house because I was thinking the worst case scenario that they're coming to kidnap my kids or they're coming to hurt us because this is like a lawless country. This is ruthless. I felt like I was dealing with like the mob. It felt like I was dealing with the mafia. The way that everything just came together and people kept hounding me, it was like mafia mentality. So that's what, when I woke up in the night and I had that thought, that's what I was scared of. I was thinking to myself, they're going to hurt my kids. They're going to hurt me. They're going to try and get me to silence me. So I don't say anything. So I don't reply back to the lawyers and I just disappear. They wanted me to disappear, never talk about it ever again. But because I kept talking back, I kept talking to people and because I was in that group as well, like I felt like they wanted to silence me basically. So in my mind, I thought when I heard that download, that they're going to hurt me or my family and when I'm not there. So we rushed back. They weren't there. I ran inside, hugged my kids and I prayed to Rakat. I was like, alhamdulillah, thank you for protecting us. Thank you for being there, protecting my kids. And we're safe. And I kept reaffirming that. But that's when I had my breakdown. That's when I thought, you know what, this is really bad. This is like a really bad situation. Like, I kept saying to myself, am I the problem? I said to Allah, am I the problem? Because this stuff keeps carrying me. Like, it's not the first time I've been through something like this. I've had this my whole life. Genuinely felt like I'm the problem. Like, if I just kept quiet and just carried on with my life, this wouldn't have happened. If I just carried on with my life like nothing ever happened and just pretending like the car was fine, this wouldn't happen. That's what I kept saying to myself, that I need to keep quiet. But then Allah kept saying to me, no, you don't need to keep quiet, you just speak about it. So I was conflicted, and I was having this moment in my, like, it felt like a psychosis, like I'm fighting my brain, fighting my body, fighting the downloads, I'm just fighting everything inside of myself, trying not to be myself. Because the Rosie I am, I speak up when I see injustice. I'm not going to back down. I don't care if it affects me. Like, I don't care. I've gone through things in my life where I just don't care. I'm that type of friend that I will turn up at your door if someone tries to harm you, and I will beat them up. That's the type of person I am. I've always been that way. So I've always been that type of person that I'm not the type to back down. The life that I've come from doesn't require me to do that. My mom trained me literally to become this warrior mindset where I never back down. So that's just innate in me. When I used to get bullied by the bullies in school, my mom would say to me, go back, get up, stop feeling sorry for yourself, go back, show them what you're made of, show them that you're resilient, show them that they can't break you, because that's your superpower. So I have that mindset, I have that mentality. Rahimullah, may Allah bless my mom for like raising me that way. I raise my kids the same way. I don't let them back down from bullies. I always tell them bullies are just broken children. They're broken toddlers. They never got to have a tantrum and they're taking it out on you. So be compassionate with them. So anyways, this is all happening. Come back, pray. And I'm just in a state of what the heck is going on? I need to leave this country. This country is so bad. So I thought about leaving, going to a different country. I started researching about different countries, and I was thinking of going back to Egypt, going to Saudi. My husband was figuring out a way to go to Saudi with his engineering degree. We were just thinking about a lot of different options, and I was narrating that in the group. I was telling a group of women that was in that group that knew about what's going on, that I'm going to leave and this is not right. And still, no one really cared. It was just like a whole circus show. If I felt like I was a clown and people were watching my performance and then watching to see if I would die, and they're just hoping that I would die. They're just hoping I would disappear because it wasn't proper. I felt like the people in this community are very good at having a reputation of acting nice, but really they're not, and they don't want that to be exposed. That's just what I felt. So I prayed to Allah, and then my husband said to me, what were you speaking to last night? Because how did it happen, what you said to me? I said, it's Allah. It's Allah. Allah is sending me signs. It may not be Allah that I'm talking to, but Allah is sending me something, telling me something. It's all Allah, because I'm praying to Allah. These people, one of the people were doing sihr. They left an object in the car. This is well known to be a sihr thing. They left something in the car, and when I picked it up, I said, this is sihr, and I showed it to someone who is Gambian, and said, that's sihr. And I was like, okay, that's what these people are dabbling in, hoping that I would die. And because my faith in Allah was so strong, the middleman, the guy who's Gambian, was so scared of me. He actually said, because we got police involved too, so he said to the police, I'm scared of her. I'm scared of her. He just kept saying he's scared of me. I have no idea why. Mate, you're doing sihr, so I don't know why you're scared of me. So, I don't know if he was doing it. Astaghfirullah, I don't know who did it, but it was in the car, and it was really weird. So anyways, that happened, and I realized, wow, Allah really is amazing, and Allah has really blessed me with a gift that is so much, it's worth more than the car. This deep intuition that I've uncovered, that I've discovered within me. I've always had this. And I remember actually an incident when I was little. I was 4 years old and I was on the bus, and subhanAllah, it's the same voice. I was on the bus, and my family got off the bus, and I never got off the bus. And I didn't realize that my family had gotten off the bus until the bus started driving off, and I saw my family at the bus stop. And then something tells me, look for a woman with a briefcase. I have no idea where that voice came from. I'm 4 years old. And the voice said, look for a woman with a briefcase. Now, the next stop was coming, and I didn't cry. I felt so protected. I felt like I was floating through this whole situation. And then I see a woman with a briefcase, and I ran to her and I tugged at her skirt and I said, I'm lost. And she said, oh my gosh, you're lost. And then she took me to the police station. And at the police station, my stepdad, he put out a call to all the police stations, asking if they had picked up a little girl. Alhamdulillah, they found me and then my stepdad picked me up. But that's the same voice I heard. The exact same voice. Imagine what could have happened if I never heard that voice or never listened to it. Where would I be? Allah is always guiding us. We're not quiet enough to hear His side. We're not connected enough to Him to hear His sides, to hear His guidance, that we're so distracted by different things, and we allow chaos like my situation to distract us from what Allah is trying to give us. In this whole situation, Allah was trying to get me to deepen my intuition. And this is where my hypnosis audio came from, deepen your intuition. It came from the back of that experience, deepen your intuition. Because my intuition is so deep. It's such an invaluable, priceless, treasured gift that I have now. And that's just one of the gifts that came from this experience. Another gift that came actually was the ladies in this cohort of Sacred Frame and Pleasure. When they did their testimonials, all of them said, Rose, I don't know what gift you have. One of the girls associated with Yusuf, Prophet Yusuf, where he had like premonition. She goes, I don't know what gift you have, but you are able to connect things. It's like you have this intuition, and they kept saying intuition. Your intuition is so on point that we get the coaching that we need that helps us return back to Allah in a healed state. And that's exactly what I've been trying to do with Sacred Frame and Pleasure. I'm trying to get women to just return back to Allah, because your healing is with Allah. I just create the space. I'm not the healer. Allah is the healer. My goal and my mission is to help women reconnect to Allah away from all this riffraff of people talking about how women should be. You need to connect to Allah to figure out who you should be, and Allah will guide you. Because when you're trying to appease a group of people who don't really care about you, you're trying to appease a group, a cult, or a sect, or a madhab, or whatever it is you're saying to yourself, it's not helping you. Because I used to be one of those women. I used to be one of those women who connected to a cult when I became a Muslim, and it deprived me of my feminine energy. I couldn't hear things. I was so deprived. I was starving of Allah's connection. And through this experience, I remembered who I was. I've had this voice in my mind. I've had this voice guiding me this whole time. I just forgot. So in this moment, Allah helped me remember who I am. The women in Sacred Frame and Pleasure, may Allah bless them confirming it to me. How laser focused, on point my advice is, and the coaching that I give, it just helped them on so many levels. They can't even explain it to me. I still have women messaging me from the last time they were in the cohort, telling me that their life just keeps getting better. Alhamdulillah, it's all from Allah. But girl, that's not the best thing. So it's coming up to October. I finally come to terms with what's happened. I finally come out of this state of feeling like I feel so shut off and heartbroken, and I've forgiven the woman. I haven't told her, but I've forgiven her. I've let go of the pain. I've stopped talking about it. I let go of the group. I just walked away from everything. I didn't reply back to the lawyers. I took the loss and took it as a lesson. A 12K, 13K lesson that I appreciate, because I gained so much back. So now it's November. My husband wants to plan a little vacation, thinking we should go to Morocco. I'm like, yeah, babe, book it, whatever. We were planning our little, we just called it a little honeymoon, whatever. So I left it to my husband. I didn't really care. I was like, yeah, whatever. I need a break. I need a holiday. We're only going to make it 4 days because the kids, we're leaving the kids with a nanny, and it's the first time we left all the kids behind, and we've done things. But it's not the first time. Usually me and my husband, we do weekend dates, and we book a hotel, and we just spend time as a couple. But it's a different country we're going to, so we're going to be away from the kids. We went to Morocco. This is December time. And I'm in Morocco. And then my husband says, we're going for Umrah. I'm like, what? We're going for Umrah. We are going for Umrah. Girl, I went for Umrah in December. Mind you, remember, 2017 is the last time I was in Mecca. And I made dua to Allah, I'm going to come back. I'm going to come back and stay in Mecca Towers Hotel. Guess where we stayed? Mecca Tower Hotel. When I saw that we were in Mecca Tower Hotel, I cried. I literally cried. I can't explain to you how Allah just makes things work for you if you just have faith. I stayed in Mecca Towers. We did our Umrah. I cried profusely, girl. I was like, oh my God, we are back. I'm back in Mecca. I'm back in Mecca. And Allah answered my dua. The dua I made back then, I want to be happier, I want to be healthier, I want to be richer, I want to have a business, I want to be healed. All of it came true. I was healed, I was happier, I'm married, I was wealthier, I had my business, I'm richer. Allah gave me more than what I actually prayed for. And I couldn't stop crying. Girl, the whole trip, I couldn't stop crying. My eyes were swollen at the end of the trip. I was bawling, 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 bawling. I was crying my eyes out. But I couldn't believe. The feeling I couldn't understand is more than what I could ever describe. It's more than what I could ever expect from Allah. It's a different feeling. But when you think about going for Umrah, the feeling is different to when you're thinking about it. So we make it tawaf and I'm just in this constant state of gratitude. And I'm thinking about my mom because my mom was like a huge part of my life, rahimahullah. And it felt like even though my mom's not there, she's still there in the feeling. My husband reminds me so much of my mom, the way like he is so attentive and listens to me. Even though me and my mom had our spats, we didn't see eye to eye when I was growing up. But when I left, me and my mom had such a better relationship because I realized when I moved out on my own, I had to do things for myself. I realized just how hard it was for my mom. And that sympathy that I had for my mom, I feel like it helped her a lot. It helped bond our relationship. There were things I used to say to her all the time that, Mom, you didn't deserve that. You deserved a loving family. I used to always remind my mom that things that happened to you was not okay. And I think that's what really helped me and my mom bond because she finally felt understood. And I used to always say to her, Mom, you're still a child. You never got to experience life. You were having babies at a young age. You had to raise your siblings. You were beaten up a lot. You didn't have an education. You had to do a lot of things by yourself. So I always validated my mom, and I feel like that's what bonding our relationship together. But this is like a sign for you as well. If you have a strained relationship with your family, just know that you can change it. It can happen, especially with your parents if they're still alive. So, and I remember crying, saying to my husband that I made dua to come back when my mom died, and I couldn't even get the words out. I was crying so much. And my husband was just like, are you okay? Like, he thought I was having a panic attack. I was like, babe, this is just too much. It's just overwhelming. And I was just so grateful. And then, girl, that's not the best part. Now, 2 weeks later, I was like, babe, we need to go back for Umrah. We need to go back. I just feel like we need to go back. So I'm looking at flights and girl, literally, I do not know how we got back to Mecca within 2 weeks. We just come back. 2 weeks later, we're like, we're going back. Don't know how I booked the flights. Don't know how we booked the hotel. I still don't get it. I still don't know how the whole situation happened. Girl, I cannot tell you how it happened. So it was the 5th of January we went and we came back on the 10th, I think. And that whole experience was just a whole surreal experience in itself on how we were just able to do that. It was like an addictive feeling. Like, I want that rush again. I'm addicted to that feeling of peace. And when we went to Jannah, when we went to Mecca the first time, I was saying to my husband, there's a piece of Jannah here, the black stone. The stone that came from Jannah, there's a piece of Jannah here. Don't people get that? There's a piece of Jannah here. This is where you're going to find pure bliss, pure peace, better than any resort is in Mecca. And me and my husband made a pact that we're going to do Umrah every year and inshallah do Hajj next year. That's our goal now. That our only holiday that is going to create halal income and a halal return is Mecca. That's the only holiday that we can spend that is worth it. It's going to create more abundance. So we made that pact that, yeah, we can go to little holidays here and there, but the ultimate holiday, the ultimate experience, the 5-star Michelin star experience is doing Umrah. So going back to Mecca 2 weeks later, girl, it's just like Allah was spoiling me. Allah was just spoiling me. Allah wanted to spoil me. But guess what? Guess what? I was in Mecca on my birthday. I don't celebrate birthdays. I forget that is my birthday. But that day I remembered. Allah wanted me to remember. And birthdays have always been a sore spot for me because we never celebrated them, even when I wasn't a Muslim. My mom used to celebrate my elder brother's birthdays, and we celebrated my nephew's birthday. The boys' birthdays were always celebrated, but mine wasn't. I think my sisters used to get that. Yeah, my sister got her birthday celebrated, but me, I was just the middle child. I think people forgot about me. So it's always been a sore spot. It's been like this really weird, does anyone care that I'm alive kind of feeling? That's what I've had around my birthday. So being in Mecca on my birthday, girl, Allah was spoiling me. I remember my husband fell sick the day before, and I really wanted to pray tahajjud, but I didn't want to go by myself because I've had experiences in Mecca before, back in 2016, 2017, when I did Umrah, where I was sexually assaulted, like men just touch you. And I didn't want that to happen to me. I didn't want to risk it. So I was being cautious. And I just thought to myself, it's fine. We'll go tomorrow, inshallah. We have one more day. We have 2 more days. We have one more day because 9th and 10th, we were leaving on the 10th. So we have at least one more day to pray tahajjud at least and do a 2-hour tawaf and just really get in ibadah, all the ibadah that we can think about. So I wake up, got a notification that it's my birthday. So it's the 9th of January. You know when you're in that space of like delusion and you're in a different reality, and when you don't celebrate your birthdays like that, your birthday just come and go. You never really think about it. So I think my phone reminded me that it's my birthday because obviously Google is synced to my calendar. And I just looked at my phone. I was like, oh my gosh, it's my birthday. Allahu Akbar. I'm in my sujood. I was like, Allah, you remember me. You brought me to Mecca. I want to cry. Allahu Akbar. I was just like, it's that feeling of remembrance that I am someone. Girl, I'm choking up. That I am someone to Allah. That was huge. So anyways, my husband's sick. We prayed the her. My husband goes back to the hotel. My husband said to me, just go. Go. You want to go. You want to go do your tawaf. Just do it. You'll be fine. Just pray. Ask Allah to protect you. Because my husband was really sick. Like, I don't know what he got. I felt like he had COVID. He was just not well. So my legs literally guided me. It's like my legs had a mind of their own and they took me down to the ground floor. Now, remember, when you do Umrah, when you're with your husband, you can't do Umrah. You can't do Tawaf on the ground floor. You have to go to the second floor. And we all know Tawaf on the second floor is longer. Like, don't lie to yourself. You know, Tawaf on the second floor is longer. It's so much more longer than on the ground floor. So I was like, I really want to go to the ground floor. I really want to be just in front of the Kaaba, just making dua. And Allah answered my dua. Allah answered it. It wasn't even like a really huge desire. I just wanted it to happen. Allah made it happen. So I'm going down to the ground floor and I'm thinking, this is the basement. Why am I in the basement for? I'm seeing something about a library and books. I'm just thinking to myself, where am I? And I asked the soldier, Aina Kaaba? And he pointed, ala tool, straight. And I thought to myself, okay, let me go straight. I followed the crowd. There in front of me is the Kaaba on the ground floor. I'm just like, oh my gosh. Allah, you love spoiling me. Allah, you love spoiling me. I just couldn't stop praising Allah. I was so overcome with emotions. I just kept crying. So I sat down on the Kaaba. All I kept saying was Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. There's nothing else that could come out of my mouth. I didn't even make any dua. I don't think I made any dua. I just kept saying Allahu Akbar from Dhuhr to Asr. I was just in such shock. I felt like I went into shock. I just sat there in front of the Kaaba, taking it all in, looking at the birds, looking at the sky, soaking in the whole moment. I was so soaked in that moment. I'm still in that moment. I still feel it. When I'm thinking about it now, I can feel it, that moment. And it was Asr time, prayed, and I went back to the hotel. That was the icing on my cake. That was all the way back. I was saying to Allah, Allah, you care about me. You love me. You really love me. And I had to keep saying that. And my other hypnosis audio, God loves you, came from that feeling, that event. Allah, you love me. There's no way anyone can ever make me believe that you don't love me. Ever. I don't care what people say to me about my religion. I don't care to me what people say to me about my aqidah, or they try to bring me down. No one can ever take me off this spot. I don't care. People can criticize me, saying I'm not a proper Muslim, I look like this, I do this. I do not care. Because I know what I've been through. And I know how I've held on to Allah like a child. I've held on to Allah with every experience I've gone through. That knowing Allah has my back. That's how I've been. And there's people who've come and gone who've made me doubt my religion. But I feel like in this moment, Allah was saying to me, Rose, don't ever doubt. Don't ever doubt my connection in your life. Don't ever doubt it ever again, ever. It's like Allah was reprimanding me. I felt like Allah was reprimanding me and at the same time loving me. It's like a loving parent who's telling you, don't ever doubt me. Keep praying to me because I've got you. That's how I felt leaving the Kaaba. And I pray you feel this. I pray that you feel this. You listening to this, I pray you get to this point in your life where you feel that way towards Allah. Whew. Like I pray you get to that point in your life where no matter what you go through, you know it's because Allah loves you. Allah doesn't want to punish you. Allah wants the best for you. Like, as I'm reflecting on the whole experience from June until that time, Allah was preparing me for this moment for me to remember that I'm someone to Allah. So I want you to remember, when you're going through a chaotic experience, it's not because Allah hates you. And it's not because Allah wants to punish you. It's because Allah wants to give you something that you cannot fathom. Like, you can't fathom it. Like, wherever you're thinking in that moment, oh, it's so much worse. It's not. Because if you can feel how bad it is, just remember it can get just as good. It's called the law of polarity. The way Allah created the world is in two opposite effects. If there's something really bad happening in the world, there's an equal amount of good happening in the world. So if you go through a really tough time and you keep the faith, you will experience the fullest extent of that opposite feeling, that good feeling. Just like I am now. Like when I'm crying because I'm just so grateful that Allah chose me. It's like this feeling of like, I'm really humble. I feel so humbled that Allah chose me to guide me and He chose me to be His servant, to worship Him. It's just a humbling experience that, wow, the woman I was, the girl I grew up to be, the girl I was growing up, I never imagined in my life that this could be my life. Never. The girl growing up, I just felt so unloved, so hurt, so angry at the world that now when I look at my life, it's just like, I'd never imagined this. I'd never imagined I would have kids, I would have a husband, I would be living my best life. I didn't imagine I would have a business. I didn't imagine I would be giving this wisdom to people. I didn't imagine I would have this relationship with Allah. Never. So just know that whatever you go through, whatever your traumas are building you. I don't want you to feel like a victim. Your traumas are never there to victimize you. It's you who victimizes yourself. It's you who makes you think you're weak. When you're going through like pain or you remember your childhood from a traumatic way, like you're a victim, you did that. You victimized yourself because you're meant to remember how powerful you are. And every experience you go through in life is not going to be 100%. I know people look at me thinking, she has the perfect life. Girl, I am going through it still. I go through challenges every single day. I have kids. They're growing up. I live in a country that's different. I don't speak the language. I'm not black. I'm not African. I'm considered an outsider. I'm considered an enemy. There's a lot of things that go on in my life that I don't really pay attention to, but I feel it. I sense it. But I choose not to buy into the story. I'm Muslim as well. I'm a niqabi. I run a business online. I get a lot of weirdness online. But I choose not to look into it. I know it's there, but I don't focus on it. I go through a lot of challenges in my life. My life is not perfect, and I don't ever want you to think that Rosie has the perfect life. Because this whole podcast I'm talking about, my experience was behind closed doors. When I was showing up online, acting normal, I was deep down broken inside. That's what happens. We don't show, like, I'm not gonna come online and cry. I'm like, oh my God, this happened to me. I'm not going to do that. No one does that on social media because we start thinking weird of that person. We're always showing our highlight reels, our best versions, our whole life. We're looking at how amazing life is. That's what we're doing. And during this whole time, October 7th happened. What happened in Palestine happened. That was another gut-wrenching experience. Oh my gosh. Couple on top of the chaos I was going through, seeing, I don't want to talk about it. I just can't. I want to vomit. But we all know what we saw. We all know what we're seeing. That on top, when I went for Umrah, the way I prayed hard for Palestine, for Gaza, for the Ummah, and what Allah was showing, I feel like Allah was showing me as well that the Ummah is so divided because I saw it. I saw how divided the Ummah is. I saw how alone You know, and I know it's not the same, and I will never compare it the same way. You know how in Philistine, people are asking, where is the Ummah? Wallahi, because this happened in June, July, I was saying to my husband, where is the Ummah? Where is the Muslims? I kept crying to my husband, saying, where's the Muslims? Where are the Muslims? I'm in a situation here that is affecting me. I've just gone for a miscarriage. When this whole situation happened, I kept crying, where's the Muslims? And when I heard the people in Palestine saying that, by no way am I the same. Am I going for the same? Just a disclaimer before your cognitive dissonance comes in, or your wherever, that I felt that pain. I was like, subhanallah, they are going through worse, but they're still holding their faith. And they're still choosing to believe good of Allah. And yes, they're saying, where's the Ummah? But they're not giving up. And I feel like what I experienced on a smaller scale, and I've seen it on a larger scale in Philistine, made me realize that we all have so much, not so much, but we all have that inner work to do. We all have to disconnect from the world in order to reconnect to Allah for us to make the world a better place. We have forgotten the whole essence of being a human being. We are so plagued by greed and competition that we're not realizing how much we're harming each other by doing this. So that whole experience made me just love being a Muslim more, even though I don't have that community. Inshallah, one day I might do. I don't know. The Prophet ﷺ never had that community. He only had one companion. That was his close companion, Abu Bakr. I know he had Sahabas around him, but one companion he trusted with his life was Abu Bakr. Like the whole community was people that were hypocrites around him. He never had utopia. So another thing that came to me in this reframe of this whole situation was, it's never going to be the way I want it. I may think in my mind, when you're a Muslim, you have a community and everyone loves you and we sing Kumbaya together. That's not the truth. You have Allah. The whole point is for you to connect to Allah so you find your community in Him. Your community is in your connection with Allah. That's going to bring your community. That's going to make you feel so strong in yourself that it doesn't matter what happens around you as long as you have Allah. Even though I went through this whole situation, this was this last year, I feel so good. I see the people. I see all the people who abandoned me on the streets. I see them all. I went for Eid recently we had a gathering. I saw everyone. And I stood my ground, said Assalamu alaikum to everyone, acted like everything's fine. They had a feeling, I could tell, that they were a bit precautious, but me, I was cool. Because I've forgiven, I've forgotten, and I realized what Allah has given me. Allah has given me so much more better. And to top it off, in April, I went for Umrah with my children and my mother-in-law. To top it off, girl, just recently, a few weeks ago, I went for Umrah with my husband and my mom-in-law, and we completed Umrah. Now, the funniest thing is this, because I'm trying to experiment on myself and to see if this works. In January, when we were leaving when we were leaving Makkah, I keep saying Umrah. When we were leaving Makkah, I was saying to my husband, oh, babe, it was so amazing that we came with our kids. Like, I got my husband to play pretend. I call it play pretend. And we were talking about our kids being there, and it was so amazing, and the kids were so fine, and the youngest kids were so good. And before I left Makkah, I said, Allah, thank you for bringing my kids here. I imagine my kids were around me. I imagine leaving the haram with my mom-in-law and my kids. I said, thank you, Allah, for bringing my children with me to do Umrah. I am so blessed. I'm so blessed. Thank you, Allah. And I said it to my husband. We were doing this play pretend kind of thing. And then we forgot about it. But then in my meditation, when I'm going to sleep, I visualize what I want. I visualize my desired reality, because your subconscious will go to work for you. So I just kept imagining that we did Umrah with my children, with my mom-in-law, and it was amazing. And then April happened, and we went for Umrah with my mom-in-law, with my kids. It was like Allah just keeps spoiling me, because I keep holding the faith and keep holding the belief that Allah wants me to win. Allah loves me. And this is how I want you to reframe your chaos, your traumatic situations. I want you to reframe it from the concept of, when you're going through something hard, it's not because Allah hates you. It's not because Allah wants to punish you. It's because Allah wants to give you something. He wants to give you something beyond your wildest imagination. He wants to give you something that you can never ever fathom. I never once fathomed or thought within 6 months, what is it? December, January, February, March, April, 5 months, I would have gone to Makkah to perform Umrah 3 times. And the third time we went, which is in April, we went to Medina. So I went back to Medina. And Medina is the place where me and my husband were there at the same time, as well as Mecca. We went to Medina at the same time, and we went to Mecca in 2017. No, 2016, I was in Medina and my husband was in Medina at the same time. And I asked Allah for a sign to just like, it's a sign I've been asking Allah for, and He gave me a sign exactly for what I asked. And Allahu Akbar, it's just like my love story is complete. I felt, oh my gosh, I can't explain to you. It's like Allah mended the pieces back together, and I have recreated my life, my story. I've recreated my childhood. I've recreated my past, and I'm living in my future. I feel like I'm living in my future. That everything's going to be okay. And this is how I want you to think. Allah is constantly wanting to give you something. When you are going through something chaotic, because Allah wants you to, I want you to imagine you are at max capacity. Imagine you are, when you keep carrying luggage to the airport and you can only carry 23 kgs, that's your maximum limit, but you are at 30 kgs of beliefs. The 7 extra kgs you have to let go of, or even the 10 extra kgs you have to let go of in order for you to receive better goods in your suitcase that are going to help you, that's going to help you have a better, more fulfilling journey, a more fulfilling vacation. So you are at max capacity. You're carrying too much things. You're carrying too many traumas, too many memories, too many beliefs. And the only way you can let go of it is if you go for this chaotic experience where you feel heartbroken, where you go back to a time that reminds you of your childhood so you can grow up in your mind and embody the woman who has it all. That's what Allah is trying to do for you, because He knows, okay, you're not going to do it through journaling. You're not going to do it through meditating. You're not going to do it by watching all the self-study courses. I'm going to have to teach you how to do it by experiencing it. That's the best way. Because when you experience that chaos and that struggle, especially when you're doing that affirming work, remember, me and my husband were affirming, we were changing our identity. Then this happened, and the whole situation happened. That's because we were affirming that we are in a new reality, and our reality had to match. Our reality had to change too. We had to quantum jump. We had to quantum leap to a different reality in order for us to receive what we're praying for. And alhamdulillah, in this whole situation, we found a place to build our house. We found a beautiful place, exactly where we want it, and we're building. Like we were able to go for Umrah, and we got what we prayed for and more. There's so much more blessings that came out of this that are just endless. I could be here for the rest of my life talking about what happened, but those are the most poignant moments for me that made me realize that Allah wants me to let go of something in my mind that's stopping me from becoming that woman that is able to hold so much wealth and hold so much space for my clients. Because through this all, I've become a better coach. Alhamdulillah, I've become a better coach. I've become way more intuitive. I've become better. My tools have sharpened. I've created new things that have helped my clients get faster results and better results. And I've just become a more patient person too. Way more patient. And I've actually been able, subhanAllah, even this recent cohort of Sacred Feminine Pleasure is a lot of women. But I've been able, alhamdulillah, our first call that we had for the first week was so amazing. I did not feel tired. I felt so energized. I felt amazing. I feel like I can hold a capacity for 100 women. That's where I'm at now, because I had to go through that. If I didn't go through that level of pain, I wouldn't have been able to receive the equal exchange of happiness. So just understand in your mind, when you're going through something so heartbreaking, just know you're going to experience the equal amount of happiness from it. I promise you. All right, I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. Let me know what came up for you. Let me know what landed. Give me your feedback. Type in the comments. Remember to subscribe and share my podcast with anyone who needs to hear it. And I'll see you soon. I'll speak to you soon, girl. Take care. Assalamu alaikum.